So recently, a rather large YouTuber named Biaheza or Biaheza, I'm not exactly sure how to say his name, actually reviewed my community or the A1 trading community that our company offers. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to his reaction of the A1 trading community and sharing his thoughts. So I'm super excited for this opportunity. He basically did a 1-week trial where he went through a couple different major YouTubers or big kind of Forex names, and I was on that list, which to be honest is kind of flattering. So I'm super excited to review his review of my community. Let's go ahead and get into it. Just before we get into this video, there is no hate on my channel. I'm not really into the whole bashing people or anything. So this is all in good fun. I've got a little cup of wine here. It should be a fun experience, and we're just gonna review and see the honest thoughts that he shared. I haven't quite seen the full video. I saw a little bit of this video because somebody mentioned that I had shown up in it. So I decided to watch the full thing here on YouTube with you guys and kind of react to it and give my 2 cents on his reaction to my channel. All right, guys, so I've got the video pulled up here and I'm about to start the video. I've got my headphones and I've got my glass of wine ready, so it should be a good time. I'm really excited to try this guy's video out or to see what he's got to say. Basically, the video is titled here in the top left corner, I paid gurus to day trade for me. A little bit of a disclaimer, the service that we offer, the A1 trading community, is not really a copy service. We're not really meant to be just, you pay for signals and we give you entries and exits. That's not really what we're about. We're kind of more of a trading community where there's open chat rooms and there's educational content and there's people sharing their trades, yes, but it's not meant to just be a blind copy service. But just with that disclaimer, I guess to be fair, he's still trying it out just to see what some of our traders are up to. We'll see what he has to say. So I'll pop my headphones on and let's get into it.
I am hyped for this week's video. Let me quickly explain what we're going to be doing here. Most people know about this, but there's something called day trading, which is where you look at a graph of a stock or currency, buy in if it goes up, sell in the same day, secure your profit, rinse and repeat. Now this is risky because when you invested there, that graph could have went down and you would have lost money. But there's a whole industry around this concept of day trading filled with people ready to take your money in return for teaching you how to trade, or even more interesting, actually giving you live trades.
That is very true. You have to be very, very careful. There's a lot of people out there ready to take your money, and you better make sure that they actually know what they're doing.
Straight up telling you when to buy and when to sell. That specific type of service is called signals, as in someone will signal you when to buy in and when to sell. And in last week's video, we paid for such signals from random people on Fiverr. I realized that really does not sound like the best idea, but we actually came out of that with a profit. So this week, we're gonna test out signals from some big names in the day trading space, since a lot of big trading gurus on YouTube and on Instagram sell that kind of thing. I get a lot of ads for this whenever I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I blow right past them because it seems kind of like a scam. But after coming out profitable on some random Fiverr signals, I'm really curious to see how these go, since some of these people are highly respected individuals in the space. So let's dive right into it.
All right.
So I ended the Fiverr signals video on Thursday, uploaded it on Friday. It's currently Sunday of that same week, and I actually continued using one of the Fiverr seller signals on the Friday I uploaded. That morning, I went in with a bigger 2K position and came out of it with a $400 profit. Honestly,
Ooh,
I don't even know what to say. That's just ridiculous. In that first week, this random Fiverr guy gave out 5 trades. All 5 came out positive, and we made $900.
5 for 5. Let's go.
How's that even possible?
All right, then keep your secrets.
So I'm gonna continue using those Fiverr signals, but now this week alongside with some new guru ones, and we're gonna see who's performed better. Now, a week is a fairly short amount of time. People have good weeks and bad weeks, so that's really important to remember here. It's not like we're doing extreme intensive testing on these signals.
Actually, I'm going to pause the video. I love what he just said right there. He just said we're not going to be doing extremely intensive studies of the signals. I actually really like that because 1 week, as you guys, if you're traders, you already know, 1 week is not a lot of time. It's not really a substantial kind of testing period in order to really see if somebody is doing what they say they're doing. In fact, the best way, in my opinion, to let somebody know whether or not you're legit or not is to actually share a track record, which sadly most traders don't share out there. You can check out mine. There's a link on my website, a1trading.com. But regardless, I like that he said that. I like that he pointed out that in order to check if somebody is really legit is to watch them trade for more than just a week, because you may have a good week, you may have a bad week. It's tough to tell just from 1 week.
But if somebody joins one of these services and they get all negative trades the first week, it's very unlikely that they'll stick around for the second week. So although this 1 week testing period is pretty short, I feel like it's a fair representation of what a customer of these services would actually feel like. And that's
fair enough, but I wish it weren't, sadly. I wish that people would spend a little bit more time if they're going to. That's very true. Like, it's true, because a lot of times people join a service and they're looking for that instant gratification, and if they don't get it, they're out and they give up very, very quickly. Unfortunately, that's the reality of a lot of kind of consumers in this sort of thing. A lot of people, you know, even in our group, sometimes people come and they go, and then the kind of more dedicated traders tend to stick around longer, and even a lot of them have become, you know, long-term members of ours.
I'm not associated with any people or signal services I use in this video. I'm not endorsing them. I'm going to be paying for all of them myself. And if someone signals are wrong, please don't send any hate their way. That's not the goal here. I mean, again, they could just be having a bad week. I was going to record myself signing up for these services live, but it was such a headache to register for some of them and figure out how all of them worked that I just did it off camera yesterday. So let's go over the signals I already signed up for and will be using throughout this video. Where should we even begin here? And by the way, all of these are going to be Forex traders because we're going to be Forex day trading throughout the entire video. Okay, so let's start with Lambo Roll. Interesting enough, a guy with the username FX Daniel Savage. But next up, we got Mamba FX. Instagram user Blame Forex has 360k followers and a signal service that. But then we got Trader Nick. He just might be the most well-known person on this list. Now his signal.
Oh, hold on. Let's back up. I need to hear that again. What did he just say?
He just might be the most well-known person on this list. Now his signal service apparently has a few people contributing to it, so it's not just his personal signals, and it's kind of like a community, but it costs me $49.99 for the month. And although there's a couple of people providing,
by the way, I appreciate the $49.99. Thank you.
Signals inside of the service, I think I'm just gonna stick to Nick's for this video. And then finally, this one was recommended by a lot of comments on my last video, and it's apparently a meme page that either owns or promotes a signal service called elitetraders.io. I'm gonna keep things simple here. Hopefully I can get one trade per day from all these parties. I'm gonna put in a flat $500 on every trade, and we'll see where this account total goes, which is currently at $5,665.
One thing I'm gonna stop him before he keeps going. I think he's saying that he's going to be trading each one of these trades as just a collection, or like each one of these different service providers, he's going to be grouping them all together, which I think, I mean, obviously it's probably, you know, a little bit easier on his end just to keep track of, but I think that comparing different services is a little bit tough if you're just going to group them all together. I think that's what he's saying.
So that's the game plan. I'll keep a scoreboard of each provider to see how they all compare for this week alone, and then also we'll see the cumulative amount on the count from all of these trades combined. So let's get into it. So the first signal I received from Trader Nick on that same exact Sunday at 3 p.m. I followed it, put in 500, and walked out with a $58 profit on the.
Okay, so he took my dollar Swiss trade. That's actually cool. We took that trade. He didn't share the analysis that came with it though. There above this, if you scroll up here on the thing, maybe what we'll do is we'll attach a screenshot of the trade. But we shared analysis with the trade as well. You know, I personally am not a big fan of just sharing just the signal by itself. Above this, there was some analysis, but it looks like he did catch that dollar Swiss trade that I caught there on the swing trader side of things, which was a pretty solid trade. It's too bad he didn't catch the CAD Swiss trade there below though, I think. Let's see if he caught it.
First trade. Then we had the Fiverr guy. He sent 2 on Monday at 3 a.m. I only followed the first and got $92 profit on it, but the next signal came out at 4 a.m. from Daniel Savage. I went in, but then he said he wasn't vibing with the trade anymore. The last signal of the day came from Blame Forex, and that one unfortunately resulted in a $67 loss. Okay, so it's currently Tuesday. At this point, I got signals from, I believe, everyone, which is great since now I know I registered for the services correctly. And the other good news is I kind of saw when everyone sends out their signals yesterday, so I came to the conclusion that if I wake up at 4 a.m. throughout this whole week, I should be able to catch all of these trades. Now, the somewhat bad news is I kind of didn't think this through all the way, and the problem with using 5 or 6 different signal providers at the same time is that some of the signals might overlap or even contradict. For example, someone can tell me to buy into this pair, and 2 hours later, a different person can say the same thing, but if the other trade is not closed yet, I can't really go into the same pair with a new position. Or if someone tells me to buy into a pair and then someone else tells me to short it, I can't do both. And surprisingly, this actually already happened like 4 times yesterday on Monday, the first day.
Okay, so he took the buy USD CHF. It actually looked like We have a buy, we have a buy, another person said buy, and another person said, was this a buy also? Yeah, so we had 4 buys across the board. That's actually interesting. But I do like that he pointed that out. So he basically said that because he's got conflicting, maybe potentially different opinions or different trade setups from different analysts or the different people he's following, it can get pretty confusing very fast, and which I can definitely agree with. If you're watching this many signal provider, I think I would probably lose my mind. This would be a lot of work to keep up with everybody's different trade alerts.
Where I got signals from 4 different people at different times to go into one pair, but I already had an open position on it. So the new plan is, instead of trying to test out every signal I get and putting the gurus against each other in a competition, we're just gonna track the cumulative amount on this account from all the signals that I can follow. So if we end up negative in this video, it's not one person's fault, and same thing if we're positive. Since I can't put in every signal I get, that result will be like a mashup of 6 different gurus. I actually think this might even be for the better. This way I don't end up endorsing anyone or signaling anyone out if they're having a bad week. So we're gonna continue this way and see where these signals take us. The Tuesday trading started off at 5 a.m. with a Fiverr guy signal, and this was the day that it finally happened. We got a negative trade from him and lost $100, so I guess he was unfortunately human after all.
You're teasing me.
We then got a Trader Nick signal that resulted in a $19 loss, so definitely off to a rough start there for the day. The Elite Trader app sent a
I remember that trade, $19 loss there. I think I took more than that on the loss there. This euro, okay, I like this time though, he actually shared the analysis there at the top. Talking about that we had a downtrend continuation play. I really did like that setup. It just didn't quite work out. You can see we had that, it's a little bit tough to see on the screen here, but we had a resistance level that price was retesting, and basically we actually saw that price rise and break through that level, and I guess he got stopped out there at the stop loss that I shared on my personal trade. I guess he just took the trade that I took there.
Resulted in a $19 loss, so definitely off to a rough start there for the day. The Elite Trader app sent a signal out for the GBP US dollar pair that only closed like 2 days later, but closed on a $69 loss. Then we got an Australian and US dollar pair signal from Mamba FX that resulted in an almost $19 profit. And the last trade for Tuesday came from Trader Nick on the US and Japanese pair and ended with a $59 loss.
Ouch, that's not looking good. I think we had a bad day that day, I guess. So he lost on the dollar yen. I think actually I think that on this particular trade I wasn't using a stop on this strategy, so actually, you know what's funny is I actually closed out profitable on this trade a few days later, I think, but he must have put in a pretty tight stop and got stopped out pretty quickly, because it looks like that trade, which was a profitable trade on my end, somehow he took a loss on there, which is interesting.
Wednesday started off with a 5:33 a.m. trade from the Fiverr guy, which closed at $55 in the green a day later. This next trade was actually my fault. I woke up, I thought I already had a trade on this pair, and only like 6 hours later realized that I didn't and decided to go in anyway. If I would have got in as soon as it was sent out, I would have made a small profit on the first take profit level and then broke even when moving the stop loss to the entry point, but instead I lost $58 on it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And same thing with this next Mamba FX signal. I got into it really late, but got out of it with a $27 profit nonetheless. Could have been more if I executed it when it was sent out though.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
And then final trade of Wednesday was from Trader Nick that made us $25.
Okay, so he caught the Euro USD.
And then final trade of Wednesday was from Trader Nick that made us $25.
Okay, so he caught the Euro USD short there that we took last week. Nice, he got a little profit off that one. Again, he didn't share the analysis, unfortunately, but we talked a little bit of why. Again, the whole purpose of our group is to share the whys behind every trade that's being taken. This was a trade that I took on my swing trade account on the sell side on Euro USD, but glad that he got out with some nice profit there.
Thursday was pretty slow. I actually signed up for a free trial on a website called forexsignals.com. So I received a signal from them at 12 a.m., put it in, and got a $31 loss. Then we got the Fiverr guy signal, which ended with a $47 profit. It's been quiet since then, so I think I'm going to be cutting the experiment here. So after about 15 trades and 5 days later, what have we concluded here? First of all, disclaimer, this experiment was not perfect. The testing window was fairly short. I was not able to execute every single trade due to an overlap in the signals, and I'm sure there may have been a couple signals that went unnoticed because I was trying to use like 5 different signal services at once. But using these guru signals this week did not really make us more money than we used the Fiverr signals last week. Although we only had a week of testing on each, still there wasn't like a drastic improvement there, and the big question is, did we come out profitable this week?
No.
We started this video at $5,665 and ended it at $5,576, so about an $89 loss there, not to mention the hundreds I spent on signals. So I'm very conflicted here. On the one side, I'm a noob when it comes to this, maybe I'm not seeing something right, but these signal providers are teaching people how to successfully trade through social media, right? So it would be in their absolute best interest to send out high quality signals, the exact ones they personally use to make all the money they claim to make. So
Yes, very true, right? As a provider myself, it's in my best interest. I run a business, I have a service. The best interest for me, and I'm sure for these other people out there who are sharing alerts and that sort of thing, we have a motivation to actually share alerts that are profitable, that are successful. But again, going back to what I mentioned earlier on in the video, it's very important that whoever you watch, make sure they actually have a track record that shows them, because again, like he's saying here in the video, it's very important that you don't just look at somebody just from 1 week of perspective, because if you just look at one person's 1 week, they can have a really good week or a really bad week. I think the week that he watched our service, it was just a couple, I think he took what, 3 or 4 trades of ours, or at least of mine, and I think he made a little bit more than break even. I'm not exactly sure, but we didn't have the best week. It was just a so-so week. And by just looking at 1 week, you wouldn't get a full picture. The best way to get a full picture is to actually review the track record of these individuals, which again, as far as I know, I'm not naming any names, but most people don't have that sort of track record available for other people to look at. So that would be my personal recommendation, is make sure that whoever you follow has a track record. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun just watching a little bit of the reaction. I think he did a really great job. I think he definitely made some good points, especially to people who are brand new to this, who, like he is apparently, as you know, self-proclaimed in this video. I think that making the point that, you know, again, it's hard to make a full judgment just on a couple of trades by somebody, but it is very, very important that you do give, you know, a true evaluation. Don't be biased just because they show you nice things on the internet. Don't just fall into the trap that, you know, they look like they're making millions, so you have to buy from them. Don't go that route. I think that's a very dangerous route. You know, I'm not really super into the idea of flashing, you know, millionaire, you know, lifestyle, that sort of thing. I'm more interested in actually, you know, the topics of trading and building consistency and showing a track record, which to me is very, very important to anybody, again, who is actually going to be talking about trading the market. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun watching this video. I liked his kind of reaction, or his different evaluations of the different services, and I thought it was super helpful, especially to some of you guys who are newer out there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a great time as I did, and we'll see you back next time.